The signal that shouldn't exist. Voyager's turned back, ambient, slowly rising cinematic music. After 45 years drifting silently through the black, Voyager 1, our most distant, most enduring, and most lonely machine, has done something that no one at NASA, no scientist on Earth, could have predicted. It turned back. Not physically. But in its signal, its data stream, came something unfamiliar. A ripple. A loop. A kind of glitch that defied explanation. Except it wasn't a glitch. Because within that static hum of binary and silence, there was a pattern. A reflection of Voyager's own signal, but distorted. Altered. Bent in a way that Voyager shouldn't be capable of doing. Engineers called it a reflection loop. But what they really meant was this. Voyager the 1st of May have heard itself in a place where nothing should echo. And that means one of two things. Either the vacuum of space isn't what we think it is, or something out there is listening. Rewind to 1977. 2 spacecraft were launched. Voyager 1. Voyager 2. Humanity's first real attempt to touch the stars. Armed with gold discs, symbolic greetings, ancient computers, and infinite ambition. They were designed to survive just 4 years. But they endured. They slipped the bonds of Earth and flew past the gas giants Jupiter, Saturn, capturing data that transformed science textbooks forever. Despite having processors weaker than the average modern microwave, they danced between planets, used gravity as a slingshot, and ventured where no machine had gone before. Their memory, 69 kilobytes. Their cameras, analog. Their power, slowly dwindling. But still, they moved forward. And for decades, even as subsystems were shut down and instruments died one by one, they kept speaking. Faint pulses across a void 20 billion kilometers wide. Then, silence changed. And that change carried a whisper, something almost intentional. For years, astrophysicists accepted a firm boundary between the solar system and the interstellar beyond. The heliopause, a kind of invisible wall where the sun's influence fades to nothing. Beyond it, true galactic space begins. Voyager 1 crossed this boundary in 2012. At roughly 120 astronomical units from Earth. That's 11 billion miles so far away it takes nearly 20 hours for light to reach it. And yet, the data was strange. Puzzling. Yes, particle density increased, as expected. But the magnetic field didn't shift the way it should have. The field's direction remained mostly unchanged despite being in completely different territory. Voyager 2, which followed years later on a different trajectory, saw the same thing. 2 crafts. Different positions. Same unexpected magnetic consistency. This wasn't an error. It was something bigger. The boundary we thought was clean was leaking. Or warped. Or worse, manipulated. As the years passed, those anomalies were brushed aside, buried in technical reports. The data didn't make sense, but it didn't stop the mission. Until early 2024. That's when Voyager 1 sent a signal that truly should not have been possible. Telemetry data was corrupted. Signal resets occurred in patterns never programmed into the software. Backup systems came online, independently running processes that no human on Earth had written. It wasn't static. It was a structureless pattern, but undeniably a pattern. NASA's first assumption? Memory degradation. Cosmic radiation scrambling the bits. But then something stranger happened. Even after switching to redundant hardware, the pattern continued unchanged. The same bizarre transmission. Coming from systems never designed to send that kind of data. And that's when it became clear, this wasn't internal. It was external. One veteran engineer described it off the record. It's like shouting into a canyon that shouldn't exist, and hearing your voice return, but warped by someone, or something, else's breath. The loop wasn't mechanical. It wasn't just data bouncing. It was responding. Like a mirror. But slightly off. Like something was observing, then mimicking, but not quite understanding. As scientists dove deeper into the data, they began mapping it alongside galactic ray bursts, solar wind patterns, and plasma wave measurements. And then came the revelation. The interference in Voyager's signal, these strange data loops aligned perfectly with a sudden and dramatic spike in galactic cosmic rays. The kind of rays that should have been deflected by the heliosphere. But they weren't. They surged. And then, a new wrinkle. Literally. A kink in the magnetic field. Like something had bent it. Not like a solar event. Not turbulence. Not randomness. It was smooth. Deliberate. It was as if Voyager 1 had passed through a membrane, a threshold of some kind. And whatever lay on the other side was active. Soft ambient pause. Some scientists offered plausible explanations. A dense plasma cloud. A region of compressed interstellar particles. Or a naturally occurring but unknown phenomenon. Others, quietly, offered a darker theory. One that bordered on the forbidden. What if space isn't entirely natural? What if Voyager had entered a domain, the structure beyond the stars, what found Voyager? Soft ambient tones return, slower, deeper, behind closed doors. NASA convened an emergency task force. No fanfare. No press conference. Just a quiet call to specialists in quantum fields, AI signal interpretation, and deep space navigation. One internal leak revealed a chilling fact. The signal carried non-random oscillations at frequencies Voyager 1 shouldn't be able to emit. Its systems, both primary and backup, were not capable of generating those frequencies. So where were they coming from? The only logical answer? They weren't coming from Voyager. They were coming through Voyager. Even more unsettling, the timing was precise. The anomalies began immediately after Voyager passed through a sharp drop in cosmic radiation. A drop that should have no effect on software. And yet, the transmissions change. Something out there may have shielded Voyager. Or worse, scanned it. And then, it happened again. Voyager 2 millions of miles away, on a different trajectory, began experiencing synchronized anomalies. Not identical. But uncannily parallel. Signal distortion. Small, unexplained course deviations. Magnetic readings that no known model could explain. The odds of both crafts encountering matching anomalies in two unrelated parts of interstellar space? Astronomically low. Unless, they weren't unrelated. Unless, both had entered the same thing. What if this wasn't just a region? What if this was a structure? A perimeter? An edge? A cosmic threshold that spans across light years? Invisible. Undetectable until touched. And if there's a perimeter, then there must be a center. And what lies at that center, may have just noticed us. As more data poured in, scientists noticed something else. Voyager's trajectory had shifted. Not by much fractions of a degree. But consistently. Predictably. In ways gravity alone could not account for. Some suggested dark matter interactions. Others spoke of gravitational lensing by an object we can't yet detect. But one unpublished theory went further. A space-time distortion. A fold in the fabric of the universe. Not a wormhole. Not a black hole. But something else. Something deliberate. A cosmic anomaly that behaves as if it were watching. Waiting. And here's where things get truly disturbing. The patterns. The loops. The mirrored behavior between the two Voyagers, they began to look less like interference and more like behavior. Like response. Something was not just reflecting signals. It was shaping them. Echoing, testing, probing. As if, we were part of the experiment now. NASA, of course, downplayed the findings. Publicly, the line remained. Routine transmission recovery in progress. Privately, they were in panic. One source at JPL admitted, "We're seeing behavior we can't simulate, and that scares everyone here." Scientists who once laughed off artificiality now refuse to speak on the record. Engineers are quietly being rotated off Voyager teams. Papers are delayed. Reports redacted. Because the truth is too big. Too disruptive. What if Voyager 1 didn't just go far? What if it went somewhere it was never meant to be? A place where space folds. Time shifts. And something ancient waits behind the veil. Something that's been watching. Patient. Silent. Until now. And maybe just maybe Voyager didn't find something. Something found Voyager. For 45 years, Voyager has carried our voice across the stars. Music. Mathematics. Greetings. A cosmic message in a bottle. We hoped someone would listen. We just never imagined they might answer like this. Because now, in the deepest dark we've ever touched, a new truth is emerging. The edge of the solar system isn't the end. It's the beginning. Not a wall. A door. And someone or something just cracked it open. Music swells, low rumble building. If this made your skin crawl, if the silence of deep space now feels too still, you're not alone. Subscribe. We chase the signals others fear to hear. Comment below. Did Voyager cross a boundary?